Allow your life to unfold naturally. Know that it too is a vessel of perfection. Just as you breathe in and breathe out, there's a time for being ahead and a time for being behind. A time for being in motion and a time for being behind.
Namaste, Ashe. This is Gabrielle, or Omscorpius, here with a pick-a-card reading. These readings are timeless. You get them whenever you need them. These are for entertainment, healing purposes only, and if it triggers you, I'm not responsible for your lack of shadow work. If you enjoy it and you're coming back, thank you for reconnecting, and if you don't like it, just leave it for somebody else. So this is connected to our channeled message that we had for Frailty, the movie that I watched about with Matthew McConaughey, I keep saying that, and Bill Paxton, and basically how it was like them carrying on the mission of the Father, and like, you know, the curse of the chosen ones, those that reinforce their generational curses, the sacrifices, and all of that stuff in between. These are just like characters of our dogma that just are basically expressions of the phases of our growth of our spirit. So, but this is the connection for this. So this is our paper card. So this is basically Temperance and the High Priestess, which were really interesting for me with that whole theme of two birds, one bird, two wings, the left and the right, the Lords of Order and the Lords of Chaos and their functions. Basically, they're like functions of our minds, demons and angels, and how we utilize these energies basically make us like the character that we're acting, our spirit is acting out. So I thought it was important to do a pick-a-card for these, and I'm going to draw the cards on film. I have a different setting here. I hope you like it. I feel a little weird about it, so I'm trying to adjust to it. Bear with me. I'm working on it. I feel like I'm doing good, but so our pick-a-card. So we have the High Priestess, which was the first one that came out. I was really shocked and appalled, but this is basically like 11. If you've seen Stranger Things, I'm a huge fan of Stranger Things, and 11 is basically the freak that got out, and she is adjusting to, all the cats want to come in the room. She's adjusting to basically being normal and not being in a cage. And so this is the group for that, and I feel like we're going to tie this into the channeled message of Frailty. So I feel like with 11, I'm not sure what that is. Like, I'm going to say this is like an unsealed person, because remember the theme was like it's our energy jumping into the infinity loop, okay? And basically this loop is going to teach us about ourselves. So we have to be aware and not distracted by the wandering spirits on what our dogma is trying to teach us about our soul and our growth. It's really serious business. We cannot be distracted, but it happens. So it's like you trigger, seal, or siphon. And I think everybody experiences this, and basically based off of how you're reacting to, you know, those actions, kind of tells what kind of spirits are inside. So 11, the High Priestess would basically be having vision, which the Frailty, the whole purpose of the movie was about the dad and the youngest son having vision, and them kind of like feeling out the oldest son, but they kind of knew already he didn't have vision. I think they, you know, the whole consequences of not listening to the vision when you receive it. What is it? God doesn't show mercy to that, and the dad ended up dying. And it's mainly about just listening to the visions of your soul. God is truth. God is, the Lords of Chaos is your authenticity over like programming, falsehood. And basically falsehood is like your dogma, your stereotype, your label. And so this is for the people who have visions. That would be the High Priestess with 11. Okay, and then the next one is going to be the partner, which is Temperance, which is basically like being balanced in practicality and spirituality. So like moving in flesh, but with your vision in mind, like keeping your mind on truth, on God, on your truth. And that'll kind of basically keep you pretty balanced out with tricks of flesh, because it does happen. And the world that we live in, that we're born into, is a system of flesh. So Temperance, and Temperance, ironically, this guy, I don't remember his name, but he was actually the partner to 11. So this has something to do with like reclaiming your spark. I would say because it's like Temperance and it's the red pill, like from Matrix, dealing with like lords of order, it could deal with people who are sealed. People who are sealed are dealing on like a level of unconsciousness, and usually they feed a system, and the unconsciousness is a symptom of you being a food for another system, and these are like systems of mind, which is what the Matrix is. It's just a system of minds. So you fit into your mold. You don't break your stereotype, you be your stereotype. And what people will do will reinforce that on you to seal you. And sealing the soul is basically cutting it off from source. So yeah, so I don't know where I was with Temperance, to tell you the truth. I just got sucked into a little time warp there with technical issues. So basically we have Temperance, who is like the partner to 11 in the movie, in the show, I mean, and I don't remember his name, but basically he was like her hype man. And I think this is like our masculine and feminine side reclaiming our divine spark and becoming whole within, and seeing more clearly, because of that wholeness within, the systems that are right in front of our face that are profiting off of your fractioned, you know, psyche internally, and you being siphoned. And siphoned literally just means being cut off from source. That's what that means. Being a sealed soul is being cut off from source to a box, and there is no reward in that, but we do have systems made for that, and it is a business at this point. So it's the real thing. I don't know what's going to come out in this PickACard as far as this card goes. I mean, I'm a little spooked just saying it, but I do like the red pill and the blue pill. You know, I can't help but to see it, and that was the thing that really shook me, and so I'm really excited. So you pick your card, red pill or blue pill. You want to know how far the rabbit hole goes, or you just wake up in Wonderland again and, you know, believe whatever you want to believe. All right, 5 minutes of silence. All right. All right, and let's go ahead and go with High Priestess first, which is 11. Okay, so we'll put her here. Okay. All right, and I don't even know where to start because I'm not really prepared. I'm kind of winging it, so you'll get like a little bit of rawness here. I hope you enjoy it. Let's get the darkness. Let's see the demons and angels and the pain. You know, I love the darkness for that reason, because it's so raw. It's like Santa Muerte vibes. Like, if you ever work with her, there's something about the rawness of, she has seen it all, from a saint dying to the criminal dying, and there's no judgment there. And I love that, and she's just seen it all, and that's why she's beautiful. I find that to be the most beautiful thing. Something about that energy. I don't even know what that is. Words can't explain it. It's really beautiful. So that's why I always am drawn to just, let's see what the fucking pain is, so I can cry now, please. You know, that's why I like the truth. So let's go ahead and see what demon card we get, okay? We've been chit-chatting. Hold on, I'm going to shuffle it one more time. It kind of got hooked there. I don't know what that means. I kept moving forward, okay? I just want to do it 3 times. All right, let's see what card comes out. We've got some rejection here. Another one. Let's just, okay, that's enough. All right. When it starts spitting out like 5, 6 cards, I'm like, no, that's good. all the feelings just kind of fell out towards the end. So in the front of the deck we have Fortune and Fame again. Okay, this deals with the unsealed, the ones with vision, from Frailty, the messages from God. So we have the Angel of Fame and Fortune, and the Demon of being a self-made person. Okay, not sure where that's going, but we're gonna put it down and figure it out as we go. All right, and nothing else here. We have some guilt there. Guilt wanted to show its face. Oh Lord, do we want to do this? Oh Lord, we've got guilt and loyalty, so I'm gonna assume this is guilt and loyalty towards like our truth, because if it's the one with vision with the Lord, then it's just literally you being in alignment with your truth. Okay, so I'm going to pick the ones that I can see face up. So I see this one. This is the one that fell out. Rejection, suppression. Oh Lord, let's just pull the pain cards. Neglect and fear. Whoa. Alright, so where are we going with this? It's going to a dark place. It feels really dark. So rejection, neglect, fear, suppression, and guilt. Alright, let's see let's make it make sense. Alright, we've got rectification, the Angel, and the Demon of unrestrained living. Marvis, alright, help me out here. We've got quiet solitude, the Demon, divine comfort, neglecting duties, divine grace, unhappy voyage, and fountain of wisdom. So what I get from this is basically the consequences of submitting to a system that siphons your divine spark. That's all I kept getting. The pain and suffering, and it's like the hell people are like locked into that they don't even know on a spiritual level. What if I told you like hell is popular, you know what I mean? You know? And so I really get that just of this suppression really heavy. Suppression card is all I could feel through reading all of these demon cards. I mean, there's so many. And I feel like it's like a system that has really taken advantage of like siphoning the divine spark, and how there's like divine grace given to us, you know, who are sleeping. So because there's fear related to it, I'm not really sure what is going on, and this rejection I'm not really sure about. So maybe rejection of like the truth of what's being seen, and like what happens when we neglect, you know, responsibility over basically our temple, our spiritual temple, our demons. So like I feel like a lot of the times it's the fear and misunderstanding of what demons are that makes us neglect our spiritual power, because a lot of power is in them, and understanding these are basically demons and angels are two aspects of the mind, and when they're in balance, basically your demons siphon you, and you become part of this system that profits off of your fear. Which is a big thing. And so the issue with people who carry a divine spark, well, all of us do technically, is being aware of it, you know, like I guess all of us have a divine spark, but not everyone is aware of it. And I guess that was the point in Hereditary on the Brain, Frailty, was that you can't control what spirits are put inside you, and what spirits are put inside you are depending on your spiritual path, your spirit growth. And so you have to remember who you were when you incarnated, past all of this suppression of dogma and trying to seal you up, and like the guilt of knowing on being on autopilot, you're actually like feeding into like a system that siphons from you. And so it's really like a spiritual authority, and really understanding like the matrix is made for siphoning. It's demonic. It's sad to say, but I don't know any other way to cut it. So this is a lot, and that's what I got out. So we're gonna move on, because I feel like it's a lot of energy, and I feel like I'm barely scraping the surface, to be honest. There's so many energies associated with this, and I really just feels like it's just like a system within us that needs to be balanced, because demons and angels are basically two aspects of your mind. That's all it is. It's not no hoo-hoo ha-ha. I mean, it's cool. I mean, they are, but at the same time, they're not. It's just us. We're demonic. We're the angelic, so my cats are all over the place and messing up my spread here. So let's go ahead and move on. Let's paint a picture, because I'm just trying to narrow down the focus to what the hell do the collective people need to know about this, because I don't even know at this point. What does the collective need to know, who are carrying that divine spark while the whole world is trying to shove them into a case so they can steal their energy and help them with their awareness? What do the divine sparks need? The ones with the vision going through this hell. What do they need? Courage was one of them. Courage was one of them. An inner knowing, and addressing the worry and the fear associated with unsealing yourself and trusting your intuition. Remember, intuition is God. Intuition is God. Intuition is truth. I feel like God has been made from the Frailty movie. I really got a vibe of, man, this God shit is really cliche. And I feel like it is. It can have a backfire effect where it is so cliche that you don't even want to believe it anymore. But what if it's still true? There's a lot of power in that. And it's just how we misconstrue the words, or take the words of the dogma to literally like God, which just means truth, over like your falsehood, over the shell that people try to shove you into, because they are ghosts in the machine, and not understanding that this shit is powers and principalities. Like, this is all a spiritual war before it becomes physical. They have to spiritually dominate you, and you have to have vision to see this. And vision just means awareness of what's going on a spiritual level, and not being so like tricked by the flesh. So there's a lot of fear surrounding like, what the fuck is even going on, and can I trust my vision? And I feel like in Frailty it was really made apparent that the visions are hard, because in the movie they portrayed it as like actually out there like killing people, you know what I mean, like unaliving people is bad, so, but spiritual warfare, like I was trying to be butter sugar about it, but it's not butter and sugar. It's actually really violent when you think about it. Someone spiritually trying to destroy you, devouring your spirit, which means eventually your flesh is going to catch up with that, loss. And that's not good, and there are hungry spirits out there who don't want to take accountability, that body hop, in unconscious people, and this is when they go out in the blackout phase, you know what I mean? But anyways, we're like trailing off and rambling. So there's a lot of fear related to just what is going on, I feel like, and accepting your vision. There's a lot of energies present, which is good. So alright, so we're gonna finish it off with the Stranger Things, the tarot deck, okay, because I did 2 oracles, and then we're gonna call it, it over, because this was a lot of energy. I feel kind of scatterbrained, like there's just a lot going on for the High Priestess group, the 11 group, but it's internal systems, like, that everyone has. Demons and angels are nothing to be scared of. Everyone has them, and it's the matrices, which is collections of people that make these systems that either feed their demons or angels, but neither one is bad or good or better than the other. It's just a balance of like the powers and how to use them, you know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times people just misuse their demonic energies, or they misuse their energies, misuse their darkness and light, and confuse them, like misunderstanding God so much that like you forget that it literally just means your truth. You know, as simple as that. Make it so overcomplicated and make everybody hate it so much. It's the circus. That's why it's a fucking circus. Alright, it's just a fucking, they just make everything a goddamn circus. The words, the synonyms, oh, I'm gonna fight over this and that, and like, it's like, did you hear what I said, or are you still stuck on the word? And there is such a thing. Did you hear what I said? Did you see what I saw? Or did you, you know, just look at a thing? You know what I mean? I don't know. I hate that. It's the most annoying thing people do. It's like, really, we're gonna argue over symbols, but you're gonna miss the point. All right, I get it. All right, but anyway, so I was hoping that there was a card to be seen, none was seen. So let's do a draw. All right, so that's enough. Let's do 2. I don't want to overdo it. I really don't. And then we have here 2 of strands. So it's like 2 making a connection. So again, with the Frailty collective reading, and we got more 2s, 2 scoops. So two lights and 2 scoops, a lot of scoops, a lot of 2s. So in the Frailty collective reading, our oracle at the end was like the Uno cards was 2 going into an 8. So I feel like the 2 is your 2 halves of your soul, because remember, if you're born into a system that's based off of, you know, making people forget who they are and dividing the soul, you have to remember that you have parts of yourself that are missing within yourself, and you have to find that. And one message for this is a 2 partnership, which would be like your masculine, feminine side. Everyone has one. And that's just a part of reclaiming your vessel and banishing spirits that aren't yours, because you will have spirits that aren't yours in a system that siphons your energy naturally. And then we have here, this is a bunch of bravery. I feel like being the Empress and really defending your divine spark in a matrix that's made to siphon your energy. It's really funny how that works in a matrix that siphons your energy, but no one is above the Most High within the matrix. It's funny. And it's like, remember that. You know, there's always more to know. Don't become egotistical even in your divine spark. You know, like, remember, like in the channel message, I got the message clearly that there was 2 ways, like, you can basically dehumanize the experience, either by dogma or spirituality, because you can see a person who is sealed, or you can see a person you know, who is, you know, sealed and doesn't want to take accountability, basically like a criminal who just doesn't want to be held accountable. And a lot of times the consequences they don't remember, so you don't want to dehumanize either way. You know what I mean? So there's always more to know. I always say, I want to say this more with this group, because it's the divine spark, and like, you know, there's always things older than us, you know. So yeah, but it's great. But this deals with courage, and I feel like defending what's yours and what's important. And I feel like the truth is important in a world that profits off of lies and deception and fear and siphoning and sealing and stealing and conning, you know, all of those things. A world that profits off of that. So yeah. So let's go ahead and end this with a oracle. My cat is giving me a 10. All right. So that was for this one. That was good. We'll shuffle it out for the next reading for these cards. And I'm going to leave with this one, Marbus, the demon Marbus, because he's my favorite. And he really deals with courage, unrestrained living. And I think this goes both ways with, like, the ways in which that your divine spark is siphoned in unrestrained ways, in the spiritual sense that if you're not even, that's why they profit off of it, because if you don't have any awareness of it, man, they are really profiting off of that, trust and believe. And then, like, the opposite is the rectification, and it's really like understanding where you've been siphoned to basically seal those areas up. And understand the system that you're born in, the matrix. But I'm going to leave Marbus out here for him for our oracle, because I love Marbus. The angel Temperance is rectification. So through your understanding of the unrestrained living, gain the, light of rectification. And, because I feel like, people always think like, well, I'm sorry, I don't know about people, but like, don't like confuse like because the system is made to siphon you that you aren't doing the same thing. Usually if you're part of a system that siphons, you're actually acting in siphoning too. It's really weird, okay? Codependency is also a form of siphoning, So also is like hyper independence too. Is like, I don't know, is it? I don't know about that, but codependency is a type of siphoning too. And then I would feel like wanting like hyper independence can be a form of siphoning too, So it can go both ways. And again, a lot of these energies are subtle. So let's just pull an oracle card. And it's like, I feel like, is it like what you do or is it like the intent behind it? Is that the thing that, see, and then it goes into this weird realm of like mind and intention, which is a more ancient form, I feel like, of communication. I feel like words are new. Is that just me? Is that just me that feels like words are new? But I don't know how to really communicate that either with words. See, that's where I'm at. So let's find a freaking oracle. Okay, a happy oracle. Alright, so we on the top, because the bottom doesn't have anything, so let's see what's on the top. Manifesting is my superpower. So I feel like sealing up the holes from the siphoning and banishing the spirits that aren't yours is you reclaiming your power as, having the one with the vision. And that's important. Like, remember the father from Frailty. God has no mercy for those who ignore their vision when he's given them, which was the consequence his whole life. Okay. So yeah. And that is for our pile number 1 with the High Priestess. Okay, now we're on to pile number 2 with Temperance. These are going to be our sealed souls, our red pills, our lords of orders, our guys that like those labels, those symbols, those categories and stereotypes. Everything needs a name and categorization. I can't stand the clutter. All right. Let's go right to the demons. Let's just follow the order. Oh, can you see? Oh, sorry. The Temperance. That was 11's opposite. 2 birds, 1 bird, 2 wings. 1 bird, 2 wings. All right, one moment. One moment. The shuffle. This is weird doing it like this. I don't like it. I don't need a table. We're on velvet right now. Come on. Is this velvet? It's the soft stuff. It's plush. It's plushy. It's plushy and black surface. Alright, one more shuffle. I'm supposed to do 2. These shuffles kind of suck. I'm sorry. I'm judging it. Alright, I think that's good. Did we get any pain cards? Okay, we didn't get any pain cards really, but on the top we got suppression. So both decks had the issue of suppression. I noticed that. It's demonic suppression. It's demonic oppression. It's demonic possession. It is. It's archons. What they do with the siphoning systems is demonic, like like possession and oppression. And it's so cliche that people don't believe it, but it's like we do this shit all the time. It's normal. We do it all the time. We might as well just call it something else then, because when you say demonic oppression and suppression, people are like, I don't believe that atheism eats you up inside. And so the demons and angel cards, we got 3. And then we have who's this? This is an angel of luxury, the demon of basically wars and fighting. And then we have loyalty, the angel of loyalty and fertility and fruitfulness. This seems grimy, I feel like. I don't know why I'm getting a grimy vibe. Like, it feels like profiting off of like the fertility by like making wars out of them. Is that weird? What is that? Like profiting off of the fertility and loyalty through wars. It's like, it feels like exploitation. Then we have theft and destruction. Stealing, killing, and destroying the divine spark because they have sealed their souls up and can't remember shit, and they are obsessed with flesh. They're hungry spirits. That's what hungry spirits Nephilims are. They're hungry spirits. They'll do anything for flesh. They don't care. They don't care if you're white, black, yellow, purple. They don't care what religion you are. They'll assimilate. They'll mimic, copy, and assimilate and try to repeat it. They're like a virus. And so it says theft and destruction is the demon, and then we have intellectual richness. So it's like the memory theft stuff. It's really weird. Like Nephilim spirits will distract you, and I feel like maybe one of their functions is just to distract you, to keep you sealed and not focusing on your dogma in a way that sees it as something to break, because it's just a character showing your spiritual development. That's all it is. It's not that serious. But the confusion spirits, the Nephilim, they want to confuse you in thinking that these dogmas are something to fight about. These dogmas are real. There's no more growth than what you see. Or it's just something like you need to fight for. There's something that you're missing. There's something that you need to take. There's always a hunger there that cannot be satisfied. It's a satiation. That hunger, you know, is kind of creates the consumer, and you fill it up with material things. But it's a spiritual hunger is what it is. That's why it's never fulfilled. That's why it's always void. There's no transmutation. There's nothing can be fed because there's nothing in there, you know what I mean? Sorry. But anyways, and that's like demonic suppression. This is when you're really being siphoned. Now you can always unseal yourself just by simple awareness and banishing the siphoning spirits from your vessel and reclaiming your vessel as your own. The crazy thing about the truth versus falsehood is that you really have to claim the truth. Tell the truth, shame the devil. It's not by accident. You're speaking to the same being. So let's go ahead and draw a picture. Okay, so we have the foundation, which is basically, I guess, the foundation of the matrix, the system that we work in. It can be foundational as our spiritual systems. It starts at that, our spiritual systems. You know, it's the rituals that happened before we forgot who we are. It's powers and principalities. We're fighting not men of flesh when it comes to being a sealed spirit and your spirituality and practicality balanced out. You might as well say trading it out in this pile. So we have one night stands and hooking up. It can be, you know, just temporary exchanges. They don't have any full depth. It's more like taking a slice of that. But it's all an illusion, because there is like really no power in our falsehood. It's just death energy. It's just illusions. It's not even real. So when they say like you sell your soul to the devil, technically you never can, because it's not yours to sell. You can't control the spirits that are put in you. So it's a game of egoism. It's mental. The war is mental before spiritual. But if you are voided spirit sealed off, you may not understand. So those are the only two cards that wanted to come out. We'll maybe get another one. I don't know if it's worth it or not. I'm sorry. I feel a little sour with this group. And then we have you know, contracts and connections and relationships. So these are like contractual relationships. I feel like shells, just temporary molds, dogmas. I don't know what the point is of that message, but we're going to keep moving through it and figure out the point. I feel kind of just, You know how I asked you, have you guys ever wanted to know what it feels like to be siphoned? Because I've actually been a victim of like demonic consumption. I'm not going to say a victim because it's kind of like something we do. We choose it. We do. And I'm sorry to say we do sometimes. And it feels like being on a carousel, living your life without purpose. And that's how the energy feels. Just a purposeless exchange of energy that isn't, it's purposeless because it doesn't feed your soul. It's feeding like a character or an ideology or a thought form that's false, and it doesn't lead to any satisfaction because it's false. I'm feeling that heavy, so I was trying to get a card to come out. Alright, so we got a lot of ice cream here. I don't know what's going on here. So we have the Emperor. It's funny because we got the Empress in the other deck. Isn't it funny how the energies with the pairs and partners are matching up with 11 and her boyfriend, and then the Emperor and Empress? So this pile is still leaning in the masculine energy, which I still feel like this is really... I feel like maybe like the world that we live in is of flesh, so it's leaning more into its masculine energy. So I guess whatever that means, look into that. Like, I guess, what is masculine energy? Like materialism, fleshy stuff? I don't know. What's masculine? I don't like generalizing things like that. It makes me feel weird. But you guys know. So I'm feeling that maybe like the matrix that we live in that siphons is like a patriarchal system mainly, not balanced. It's mainly in that. I mean, you know, it is what it is, but I'm just saying maybe that's what that's leaning to. It feels kind of set in its ways. And then we have a bunch of ice cream here. What's all this mean? Oh man, this is scary. Ooh, Lord. Ooh. We got this one. So we got ice cream and freaking this girl. I remember her from Stranger Things. Okay, so she got 8. She was 8. All right, and the pool is like, it was like one of those situations like, girl, why are you still out here? You're gonna die. And that's like they don't even know. It's sad. That's what it feels like. There's a skeleton floating in there. She's just hanging out. And it's like the water represents spirits. And it's like spirit doesn't stop sending you messages even if you're sealed, because you're still a soul. You're just selling your soul for flesh, which is blinding you to the spiritual war that's happening. And but that doesn't mean spirit doesn't stop sending you messages to wake you up. So a lot of this is unique to the individual with sealed souls, because the amount of, I feel like the way that we're sealed has a lot to do with whatever spiritual crimes or fines and costs we've accumulated, or just our spiritual journey. It's really unique. It's not to blame or shame. Everybody's soul has a unique path and a unique expression that needs to be remembered, and it's a lot of remembering who you are. So no one can tell you who you are. You have to remember that. You're retrieving yourself. So it's unique. But you know, it's just how the system works. So I don't even know how to feel about it. I feel kind of sad, but I also feel like in the sealed spirits, I feel like there's people who have the potential to remember, but there's also like straight up wandering spirits who possess people. I guess maybe like in a bigger sense you can call it like archon possession, but I don't really know. I feel like it's different when you say archon possession and then like Nephilim spirits, like literal wandering spirits who are like hungry for flesh. And that ties somehow into like the daemons and the archdaemons, who are basically like systems of your mind and your psyche and your spiritual temple. So it's important stuff, but it scares the shit out of people, so they don't look at it. It is scary shit. So, but anyways, and we're gonna go ahead and pull I think it was an oracle card now. Okay. It's scary fun stuff. I think it's interesting. I think you have to be interested in it and see how the subtle ways the flesh and spirit connect. Again, we have the freaking manifesting is my superpower. These pals are connected, which I think that's because the whole two wings, same bird. Again, we're talking about it from like pal 1 and pal 2, but technically pal 1 and pal 2 are connected through psyche and the one godness, and we all are. But with this pal, these are like people who would be like, we're not connected, we're different. Yeah, we are, but we're mostly connected. You know what I mean? So you just don't remember. So this one came up again for this pile. I was hoping to get some variety, but let's flip the deck, and on the other side, your mind is an altar to source energy. So with sealed false men, the lords of order, the red pills, you know, they seal off their mind. Their brain is the organ that connects them to mind, and mind connects them to spirit. They seal that off. And they accept materialism and dogma. Now, materialism and dogma can also like be in your head mentally, you know, like thought forms or like stereotypes and shit like that. And that's why we have them, mainly to instill demonic possession and something for you to identify with. Sometimes the identification can be like something from a past life. Sometimes it's to instill a program into your mind. So it's just really weird. But it's all happening in their mind. It's basically how they think. So it surpasses flesh, like religion, culture, race. Falsehood is like a system of the mind, and they'll use those dogmas, those words, and like play tricks, you know. I can't say sealed spirits, but the wandering spirits that you can often find in sealed individuals, yes, they do. They definitely do, for malicious means. So you just never know what spirits are behind the veil of flesh, you know. And that was basically pal number 2. With this one, I hope you guys got something out of it. I feel like it's like living repeated patterns of fated life, a fated meeting. People who are ghosts in the machines usually repeat the past, and they like it, and they like to reestablish the past over and over again. They'll do the same thing that they always have done, their spirits have always done in past lives, because they're not breaking a pattern, you know what I mean? So when we incarnate in this world, we're either going to be siphoned, sealed, or triggered to evolve, used to be fuel for a system already established in flesh, or be sealed off, be put in a box, and basically, you know, wander, I guess. I don't know. I'm working on this sealed and siphoned part. I think those who are being siphoned have a possibility of being released, but I think some people who are sealed, you know, there's no going back. And I don't know everything about that. I think that has to do with the Most High and cost and fines and karma and shit like that, and Nephilim and wandering spirits. So that's where maybe the siphoned and sealed is very different. We think these sealed shit is for comfort, but it comes with a great cost, which is our soul, which is scary. But you know, you make flesh the new hot thing, and it's like no one gives a shit about your spirit anymore. Everyone's confused. So anyways, but that was our reading with our beautiful cards of Temperance and High Priestess. I hope you enjoyed them. I did. I don't know how to feel about this reading. I hope it was casual, quick. You got the message that was needed, that resonated with you. I enjoyed it. I was actually really excited when I got these, so I wanted to do a pick a card for this one because, I don't know, it just felt special, and I wanted to see what would come up. So I hope you got what you needed. Message received. All right, thank you. Bye.
Being vigorous, and a time for being exhausted, a time for being safe, and a time for being in danger. To the sage, all of life is a movement toward perfection.